complement any decor. Contemporary, classic, yours. No one offers more Kohler for your kitchen and bath than the Home Depot. And right now, the Kohler Rubicon faucet is just $79. More saving, more doing. U.S. only. Valid through March 9th.
The Bear, Country 99.9.
Welcome back to the Thomas Fieldhouse. Jonathan Schwab, Derek Caldwell on the Bear Country Sports Network. Lock Haven, Sacred Heart Non-Conference Division I Wrestling on the Bear tonight. Let's go to the starting lineups, beginning with 125 pounds, where Jake Field is expected to win uncontested this evening. Sacred Heart will forfeit the opening weight. At 133 for Lock Haven, redshirt freshman DJ Fellman against Sacred Heart's Gerard Daly. At 141 for Lock Haven, redshirt junior Ronnie Perry against Sacred Heart's Paul Klee. 149 pounds for Lock Haven, redshirt freshman Kyle Shoup against Alex Harnsberger of Sacred Heart. 157 pounds for Lock Haven, Jonathan Ross, the true freshman who was very impressive last night in a major decision victory against Sacred Heart's Casey Mitchell. 165 pounds, true freshman Jared Segrist for Lock Haven against team captain Matt Fisher of Sacred Heart. At 174, senior Adam Mackey for LHU against Dom Chelly of Sacred Heart. 184 pounds, Corey Hazel, nationally ranked redshirt freshman for LHU against Elliot Antler of the Pioneers of Sacred Heart. At 197, Tristan Sponseller to the mat again for Lock Haven against Sacred Heart's Mark Boyle. And at heavyweight, senior Brad Emmerich for the Bald Eagles against Sacred Heart's John Hartnett. Welcoming my broadcast partner, Derek Caldwell, former Lock Haven University wrestler, onto the broadcast. Derek, Lock Haven fans had to be thrilled with what they watched last night. Now an opportunity to celebrate the seniors and close the regular season dual schedule at 500.
Yeah, Thursday night, I'm thinking, and I look at it, the dual meet as a whole was the best team performance that we saw from LHU all season long. To capitalize on bonus point opportunities last night and to really break that match open going into halftime. It spoke volumes of what LHU was able to do against Clarion. Now tonight, I have a little bit of a different opponent, an EIWA opponent coming all the way down from Connecticut in Sacred Heart. So, these guys, they've had a long trip. LHU, having that nice little homestand, being able to sleep in their own bed last night and wake up and be at the Thomas Fieldhouse this morning, or then be able to be here this evening for senior day. It's a big day. They want to go out with a bang, finish this season at 500, and having that 4-2 record in the EWL as well.
Lock Haven's 3 seniors plus a graduating redshirt junior will be honored tonight. For Scott Moore, a fourth-year head coach, this is the first group where, based on his time as an assistant before taking over as the head coach, he's been around these kids all the way through their careers. This has to be a special class to him.
Certainly, Schwabi. I mean, anytime that you recruit, bring guys through and get to see them through their entire career, it's huge. And I'm sure that this is a big night for Coach Moore as well, as he's got these 4 guys who battled, and they've been here, through these 4 or 5 years with the LHU program, and he's really been the guy that they've gone to. He's been the guy from start to finish for them. So a big night for him and a big night for these 4 individuals as well.
For those of you watching on Havencast, the seniors being honored right now: Brad Emmerich, Tyler Wood, Adam Mackey, and redshirt junior Tanya Sutton, who will graduate in May. And different situations for each of those guys, and 2 guys I view as being absolutely worth highlighting. Let's start. Brad Emmerich's on the mat right now. It's not easy to be a guy who started your first 3 years and then a Thomas Haynes becomes available. He comes into the program, and Brad Emmerich sticking it out and making the room better. It says a lot about the sacrifice that makes a program better.
Yeah, I mean, for Emmerich, like you said, Schwabe, he was the guy coming in. He was a pretty highly touted recruit, had high hopes, and he served his purpose. He did a great job those 3 years, and was planning on being the fourth-year starter. But like you said, once a blue chipper like Thomas Haynes comes in, and then that spot becomes a competition, Haynes just was kind of the cream of the crop and rose above, and so he took the spot. But for Emmerich, it's big of him to be able to stick with it and to continue to be a leader in that room. And I'm sure it's a guy that a lot of the underclassmen look up to. With it being his last season, he's going to be sorely missed.
And then on the flip side, you have an Adam Mackey who, it's your senior year. You're not in the starting lineup to start the year, but he didn't drop his head. He didn't slough off at all. He stayed with it, and when called upon, he has thrived at 174.
Yeah, I mean, and it kind of goes back to what we talked about last night. You look at guys like DJ Feldman and Jared Segrist. They're younger guys. They found a way to get into the lineup, and that's exactly what Mackey did, too. He was bouncing around 84, 97 kind of spots, filling in where he could, in these dual tournaments and such. And then 174 became available, made the cut, got himself down there. He's looked the best he has all season. He proved it last night against Regis from Clarion. His continued success, he's got to be riding high here at this juncture in the season, with it being early February and this being the last dual meet of the 2016-17 season.
Emmerich and Mackey are the two seniors we expect to see on the mat tonight for Lock Haven. What are you watching for in this final regular season bout?
Well, I think that if you're LHU, you're going out and you're trying to score a lot of points. You look at things on paper, things just really haven't gone in the favor of Sacred Heart all season. They don't have a 125-pounder in the lineup tonight. So we're going to see 9 bouts, and LHU it really favored in most of those. So you got to go out there looking to score early, looking to score often, try to get bonus points. Really it's open season for these guys tonight.
We will see how it all unfolds in just a few minutes. Lock Haven Wrestling, the 2016-2017 regular season dual finale against Sacred Heart. We'll have it for you when we come back. You're listening to Lock Haven University Wrestling on the Bear Country Sports Network.
When climbing the stairs becomes difficult, there's no need to leave your home for the sake of mobility. Add safety, peace of mind, and convenience with a Bruno stair lift from Dice Surgical and Home Health Center. The Made in America Bruno stair lift will allow you or a loved one to maintain your independence without dramatic changes to your life or structural changes to your home. With models to fit every budget, visit Dice Surgical and Home Health Center today at 1300 Sheridan Street, Williamsport in the former State Employment Office, or call 570-322-0656.
Food and fun with friends and family when you go to Haywood's on the Green in Mill Hall. With a large bar and their big screen TVs, Haywood's is where you go to catch the game with your buddies. Their spacious dining room and kids menu make them a family favorite too. Ask Haywood's about their special banquet menu for events in a ballroom capable of hosting parties up to 200 people. Call 570-748-8402 for reservations and check them out at haywoodsotg.com and on Facebook and Instagram. Haywood's. When the seasons change, Ex-Agway in Jersey Shore is ready. Ex-Agway, everything you'll need to win the fight with winter, including rock salt, ice melt, calcium chloride, and snow shovels. Heat up your stove with wood pellets from Ex-Agway. Open 8 till 5 Monday through Friday, 8 till noon Saturdays. Look for the street sign on Allegheny Street in Jersey Shore, directing you down the hill to their 112 Harris Street location. Ex-Agway, local people taking care of local people, 570-398-2770. Gerhard Her Insurance has one question for you. How long have you had your insurance with one agency? Are you aware the insurance industry is changing all the time? Many recommend you review the cost of your policies and what that price covers every 3 years. So the smart thing to do is to call Gerhard Her Insurance in Lock Haven, 570-748-8011. With a 49-year track record of serving Bear Country, they can take care of all of your business and personal insurance needs. Gerhard Her Insurance, 570-748-8011. Dr. Jason Madigan at Sport and Spine Chiropractic Rehab, not just a chiropractor, but also a nationally certified strength and conditioning specialist. Sport and Spine Chiropractic Rehab, providing comprehensive evaluations and programs for musculoskeletal injuries, including post-surgical rehab, injury prevention programs, and strength and conditioning programs. 570-858-5645 or visit their Facebook page today for more information. Optimize your health and performance. 8 North Grove Street, Lock Haven.
We're local, we're friendly, and we're fast. You gotta love the hometown guys.
So why is Kubota the best-selling subcompact lineup in America? It could be because between the cruise control, halogen headlights, hydrostatic transmission with high and low gear shift, you forget you're driving a subcompact. We're the hometown guys, Dotter Equipment, and we think you'd choose Kubota because our BX series has the power and versatility for plowing, digging, hauling, mowing, and much, much more. A powerful and efficient Kubota 3-cylinder diesel offers power unparalleled for tractors this size. And the family at Dotter Equipment offers service before and after the sale. The Kubota BX Subcompact from Dotter Equipment, Route 64 in Mill Hall and Route 75 South in Honey Grove. Online at dotterequip.com. Dotterer for Kubota.
We're local, we're friendly, and we're fast. You gotta love the hometown guys. You gotta love the hometown guys.
Bear Country 99.9.
Crowd still filing in at the Thomas Fieldhouse as Lock Haven Wrestling closes out their 2016-2017 dual schedule at home against the Pioneers of Sacred Heart. Jonathan Schwab, Derek Caldwell, Lock Haven 500 last year at 9-9. It was their best record since going 7-6 back in 2012-2013. So Derek, a real opportunity for Scott Moore and his coaching staff to maintain that positive momentum from last year with another 500 finish, heading into the Matttown Open 2 on Sunday, and then a month of workouts and tapering to prepare for EWLs.
Yeah, I mean, right now they're just looking to get to that 500 record again. Obviously, there was expectation to be above that this season. A few injuries, a couple things didn't go their way in some dual meets, and it kind of puts them right back in the same spot they were last season. But, you look ahead to next season. You got a lot of guys coming back, only losing those 4 guys in the room and reloading with more top-notch recruits across central Pennsylvania. So, Coach Moore's got to be excited about that. Now, tonight they have the task of the Pioneers from Sacred Heart, and then they're looking to score points early and looking to score them often. So, for LHU right now, you're looking to just dominate in this dual meet, get yourself prepared for EWLs, get another win towards your win percentage, and keep yourself safe out there, essentially. You don't want any late season injuries that are going to linger and affect your result come early March.
You mentioned expectations, and that can be so challenging to manage what's being expected from the outside in. If you said on paper you've got a team that was so experienced last year, and now this year, essentially, of their top 10 guys, one senior in that group, whether it was Wood at 174 or Mackey at 174, it was still just one senior in that lineup, and they stayed at 500 with a win tonight. That's a real accomplishment and says, okay, you've got something to build on. Well, at the same time, you're right. You want to be over 500. You have those lofty goals. But sometimes the outside expectations get a little bit out of hand with what the reality is, that this is a very young team.
Yeah, it certainly is, Schwabi. I mean, you look at it, like you said, only one spot really going to be where there's a guy that isn't returning next season. And, you can kind of cut that lineup up a few different ways. Once we go into next year, guys get a little bigger, guys coming off a red shirt, incoming freshmen coming in. A number of things can happen that can change really the face of what the lineup is today coming into November of 2017. But like you said, the gruelingness of a Division I wrestling season. It takes its toll on the body. It takes its toll on everyone in that room. So, to have that team effort to be able to put together a 500 record, with a win tonight, speaks volumes of the consistency that LHU has had over the past few seasons.
Scott Moore, the Lock Haven head coach, a 2003 graduate of Penn State, earned his master's at Virginia in 2004, wrestled at both schools, a 2-time All-American, He's assisted by Nate Carr Jr., Rob Weichel, and Eric Thompson. Andy Lozier, the Sacred Heart head coach, a 2001 graduate of Lycoming in his 4th season. He's assisted by Derek Moore. And as we're introducing the coaches, the forfeit at 125 made official. Jake Field earns the forfeit win, and Lock Haven with a 6-0 edge. This is the first meeting all time between these two schools. Getting ready for the battle at 133, where it'll be DJ Fellman for Lock Haven, 26-8, the redshirt freshman out of Warren, going up against Gerard Daly of Sacred Heart. Daly, a sophomore out of Port Jervis, New York. Our first actual wrestling of the evening is underway. Fellman with a businesslike 5-0 shutout of Rashawn Cooley of Clarion last night.
Just a solid job by Fellman last night. Early on, he gave up the leg, and here we see that he's given up the leg here early on to Daly. He's deep on the single leg and has it up in the air. And Daly right now gets that early takedown. So Fellman maybe just a little bit of getting woken up here, giving up that early takedown 30 seconds in.
That'll be your morning coffee right there as a stoppage 30 seconds in. Our official for tonight, Nate Chapman. Lock Haven in the crimson singlet with the white Lock Haven in the letters on the front. Sacred Heart in the road red singlets with the white trim. Fellman was able to pick up an escape. He's down 2-1, 45 seconds in.
And for Fellman right now, it's just about getting yourself comfortable out there. Again, it's a little bit of a different setup. If you don't have that 125-pound match right in front of you, you have to start things off in the dual meet for your team. So not necessarily able to get assimilated into the dual meet by having that match right in front of you. But I'm sure he'll pick up his pace here and start to work towards some points. As we love seeing those body fakes that he gives and forces these guys to react. There he gets that low single, drives across, easy double, gets the 2 real quick.
First lead for DJ Fellman, up 3-2. You don't see a lot of wrestling matches start at 133 pounds. Usually, if a coaching staff wants to adjust the order, you're talking middle weights in the 149 to 174 range like we saw last night.
Yeah, and typically if it goes to a draw, or unless they agree on a weight to start on, usually it's somewhere in the middle. But tonight, it started at 125, and we got the forfeit to start things off. But Fellman doing a good job responding after giving up the early takedown. He's gonna have to get to a tough ride though. Daly doing a good job of coming out and getting the escape though.
Tied at 3, 1:17 to go. First period. Fellman in on a leg again. Daly able to shake out. And they go out off to our right. We are above the action at the Thomas Fieldhouse. Sacred Heart trying to end a 5-match losing streak. They are 2-8 on the year. The only Catholic Division I wrestling program in the country. Sacred Heart, based in Fairfield, Connecticut. Scramble as they go out right in front of the scorers table across from us. 45.2 to go in the first period. Sacred Heart spending the weekend out here. They wrestle at Bucknell, a conference meet for them tomorrow. Daly in on a leg again. Fellman trying to push his head down and create a scramble. He's able to create the scramble in the final 30 seconds of the first period.
Yeah, Daly's range early on, he's a tall, lanky 133-pounder. Seems like it's caused some problems for Fellman. He's been able to get to the leg a few times. Fellman wised up and was able to square his hips this time and didn't allow Daly to finish that shot. But early on, you got to be impressed with how Daly's been competing with a guy the likes of DJ Fellman and the type of season that he's been able to put together. So kudos to him here in this first period.
Daly out of Minnesink Valley. His high school team at one point during his senior year ranked number 1 in the state of New York. He finished 3rd in the state as a senior. As most of these Division I guys do, he has the pedigree, and the first period ends tied at 3. 6-0 Lock Haven overall.
for Fellman here starting the second period on bottom. He's got to be sure to get that first move as he clamps down and gets hand control. A nice little trip by Daly was able to bring Fellman down. Really put Fellman in some danger there. Thought he might be able to catch him and hold him for a count. Great dump there by Fellman as he was able to get in deep. He had the elbow pulled tight and was able to dump it across and get the takedown.
Fellman now up 6-3 with 1:30 to go in the second, looking for back points. Well, Nate Chapman award 2. No indication yet. It looks like those 2 fingers are out.
He's going to hold 2 till he gives up the hold, and now he's able to get it as he lets go of that ball and chain. But a good job by Fellman. He capitalized. He was able to get to his tilt. Now he's going inside wrist tilt as well, and he's got that pretty tight on Daly. It looks like he should be able to scoop up 4 more back points.
2 back points for Fellman, then escape by Daly. So it's 10-4 Fellman with 50 seconds to go in the second period. Celebration of seniors, a little bit of a different vibe in the building than senior night last year when it was Michigan State.
Yeah, it was a big win, a Big Ten win for the first time in quite a while for this LHU program. So that was a big day for the Bald Eagles. But here at Sacred Heart, just kind of a businessman-like performance that they're trying to put together. Nice little knee tap here by Fellman, not able to go behind though. And right now he just needs to work to get his elbow free. As Daly's clamped down on it pretty good, we might see a stalemate here unless he can go around behind. Might have that near side cradle locked up. And he might be able to get some back points here late. Good job to extend his lead here at the end of the second period.
That is a class finish to the period by DJ Fellman. He is wrestling beyond his experience level right now. Up 16-4 at the end of 2.
I mean, you can see it in just his demeanor. He's on the mat. He's got that swagger about him. He's got confidence. He knows he's able to put up points when he needs to, and he's able to be defensive if he has to be as well. So right now, that 16-4 lead, he's looking for the tech or the pin. He's got a lot of time to work on top and extend his lead.
Fellman on the ride to open the third. He's up to 1:05 of riding time. He has Daly flattened out. Fellman finds back points again. That should wrap this match up. Let's see if he's got the 4.
Just got to take his time here right now. He's got Daly in a bad spot, but he doesn't want to give up the back and not be able to get the fall. It's pretty close. He's just got to settle back and get his weight on top of Daly's chest, and he should be able to finish this thing.
Fellman still working angles. 1:10 to get the job done. And there it is. DJ Fellman with the fall at the 5:51 mark, and it's 12-0 Lock Haven.
Solid performance by Fellman. He gave up that takedown early, but he didn't let it faze him. He responded very quickly and was able to get back to his feet, get that takedown, and really open things up in the second period.
Good awareness as well. He knew the time and score situation, and if he gives that situation up, if he lets Daly off his back, it's a tech fall, and you lose a team point.
Yeah, he was smelling the blood. He knew he needed to get that fall there. You could hear Coach Carr yelling from the corner, hold him there, make sure you adjust, and made those little adjustments and was able to come away with the pinfall.
Ronnie Perry for Lock Haven at 141. Redshirt junior out of Christiana, PA, Solanka High School. 21-6 on the year. He will face Paul Klee. Lock Haven has a 12-0 lead, and Perry aggressive right at the outset.
Good job by Perry early on to get to the leg. Klee, though, able to counter and get to the leg himself. No points there, but a good job, and much what we wanted to see last night from Ronnie was, getting to the leg early. Obviously against Zockerl, a much tougher test, a guy that's been deep into the NCAA tournament. And so for Perry, he needs to just work to to get himself in a good position to score points here as we go potentially dangerous in that funk situation.
2:15 to go, first period, scoreless at 1:41. 12-0 Lock Haven overall. Paul Klee spent 2.5 years of his high school career at Blair Academy in New Jersey. Finished back in his hometown of Santa Rosa, California. Graduate of Cardinal Newman High School.
For Perry right now, he just needs to continue to get to the leg. There, a nice duck attempt, gets to a sweep single. Klee, though, trying to go out the back, or rather Funk out the back. And now Perry able to step over the ankle. He's in a good spot right now, Schwab. He just needs to take his time, try to bring that left arm through and catch the far shoulder, rather, of Klee. He could really open up and score some points, and if he gets that bent leg Turk.
Wrestlers roll through on the far side. The scramble's still on. Perry trying to get his head out. Gets his head out. Now he's got Klee in trouble. Has two, and he may be able to put him to his back.
He's got that bent leg Turk that we were looking for, and he's able to keep it intact. He needs to get that right hip to Klee's hip. That'll help him to expose. I hope the official lets this go because Klee's really putting himself in this position by putting his head underneath, and now Perry's got this bent leg Turk pretty tight. He's not letting it go before he gets 4 back.
And he does just that with 38 seconds to go in the first period. 6-0, the Perry lead.
That's the thing with a lot of these guys from Sacred Heart. You know, they're really good at that scramble situation. They like to create the scramble. They feel like they can win some of those positions. But Perry, you know, he really stuck with it and didn't allow Klee's funk really to get the best of him. And now we get that roll through tilt. Perry pretty good in that position, but Klee doing a good job here defending that and being able to get his belly down.
First period closes as Perry has a 6-0 lead. And this is a great opportunity for Ronnie Perry. You want to go into that month break without competition with a good feeling, with a good memory in that first period, a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, he was able to put up some points. He got the takedown. But credit to Klee, though. You know, he really defended him off well, first minute and a half or so. But Perry, you know, just being the bull that he is at 141 pounds, found a way to get the takedown and then build his lead and get some back points to finish the first period.
Perry riding to start the second period. Up to 1:30 on the ride for Ronnie Perry. Perry, one of the team captains for this young Lock Haven group.
Right now he just needs to continue to work on that left side. I know he likes to get out to the side, much like A.J. Shop used to do, and work towards either the tilt or the cradle, kind of whatever his opponent gives him. And Klee right now just kind of based out, doesn't want to open up too much for fear of getting rolled through with either that cradle or the tilt.
Perry tried to roll him through, couldn't to one side, so now tries the other. Very close to a 2-point, and I believe Nate Chapman will award 2 back points for Ronnie Perry. He will with 51 seconds to go in the second. Now 8-0 the Perry lead.
Good job by Perry there. Initially, he didn't have that cross wrist tilt, and Klee was doing a great job of keeping his hip down and not allowing Perry to come all the way through, but he was able to pop his hips and then eventually pull Klee into his lap and get the 2 count.
Final 30 seconds of the second period. 12-0 the overall Lock Haven lead. Lock Haven looking to move to 500 as they close out their regular season dual schedule.
See if Ronnie can continue to build that lead here. He's only got 10 seconds left to go in this period, but he's got that tilt locked up. Now he goes to the claw as Klee was able to work his wrist free.
Riding time at 3:09. Second period's over. It is 8-0 Ronnie Perry.
Yeah, just another solid period by Ronnie. He only scored 2 points, but really the riding time at this point insurmountable, and Clee's not going to be able to get rid of it. So it may be a case of whether he can get to a turn on top, or maybe he cuts him loose and tries to go for big points to try to close the gap here in the third period.
Clee searching for angles. He was called for a stall during that second period. Perry trying to shake loose and reverse, and dangerous call by Nate Chapman with 1:41 left, third period.
Yeah, really a move that you're not allowed to do anymore. 5-6 years ago, might have been a different story, where the head and arm and then you go straight over the top. Something a guy by the name of James Fleming used to do at Clarion quite a bit. He was really it was a patented move for him, and he had a lot of success with it, but not able to do that anymore. It's just a safety issue, as there's a lot of torque on the neck region up towards the skull. So.
Well, that would have been back when you were wrestling, correct?
Yeah. Towards the end of my career, Fleming was really big with that, where he'd just go head and arm and he'd just run it straight over the top, and he was great with it. But at the same time, it did pose danger to pretty much everyone that he wrestled against, because he would torque it hard and he would run with it until he pulled you over.
Perry with an escape and a takedown, up now 12-0.
Perry really working hard on that left side, looking for that near side cradle, and when he gets it locked up, he's really able to run his feet and get you to your back. But Clee did a good job of keeping his base, keeping his head up, which helps to prevent that cradle from being locked.
Perry granted Clee an escape, so it's 12-1 now, and Perry getting back to work with 27 seconds to go in the match. Stalemate. Wrestlers back to the middle.
And right now, 2 takedowns is what it's going to take, or a takedown and a turn by Perry to get the technical fall. It seems like that's what he's got to be setting himself up for. But with only 10 seconds left, he's got to be thinking 2 and 2 in order to get that technical fall at this point.
Maybe a little late to come up with all of that. It looks like that will be the case, as Clee able to sneak in on a leg but not finish the move as time expires. With the 3:13 of riding time, Ronnie Perry, a 13-1 winner over Paul Clee. And the major decision gives Lock Haven a 16-0 edge.
And you can see Perry, he wanted to get that pinfall. He had the opportunity a couple times in this match to at least get the tech, as he started to rack up points with his turns. But Clee just, based out, really didn't allow him to advance his position too much from top. And, that the major decision, though, it's good for Ronnie at this point, to get that big win and score a lot of points and really open up his lungs in a live competition situation. It was good for him to get that W at this point in the season, really just looking for that 4 weeks of training going into the EWL Championships.
At 149 pounds, redshirt freshman Kyle Shoup for Lock Haven, 27-13 on the year. A tech fall last night in the win over Clarion. He faces off with Alex Harnsberger of Sacred Heart. Lock Haven already up 16-0.
Yeah, Shoup, he put together a solid performance last night, and it's much what we talk about, these guys playing to their strengths. He's great with that cross wrist tilt when he gets on top, and he got to it multiple times. Really opened things up in the first period and really didn't allow his opponent to have a chance of coming back at any juncture in that match last night.
Nothing doing yet, 50 seconds in. Harnsberger, team captain and academic All-American last year. The Sacred Heart program, while they have struggled on the mat, they are outstanding academically. Last year, second best GPA in all of Division I. The school they came in second to, not too shabby academically, Harvard,
Yeah, the Crimson, they always put a good showing out whenever it comes to the academics, and to be able to have the top GPA plus, probably the best academics in the country, speaks volumes to their program. But yeah, I mean, these guys, they do it in the classroom and do a great job.
I wonder what the punishment would be at Harvard if you finish second in the country.
You might not get to wrestle.
1:27 to go in a scoreless first period. Sacred Heart head coach Andy Lozier, very realistic about the challenge in front of him. He's the first full-time head wrestling coach in school history, and he has a lot of history in the local area. Wrestled collegiately at Lycoming up the road in Williamsport, was an All-American back in 2000, graduated from Lycoming in 2001, and was inducted into the Lycoming Hall of Fame, the Athletic Hall of Fame, in 2009.
Yeah, I mean, for this program, where they're at, location-wise, New England, not typically one of the top-notch recruiting regions in the country, but they find some good individuals up there, and they have a lot of competition, local competition. You have Brown down the road in Providence, Rhode Island. You have Harvard, not too far away in Boston, Mass, and guys that go to West Point at Army. There's a lot of local competition that have Division I wrestling programs that they're competing with in the recruiting front as well.
Harnsberger actually out of Hillsboro, Oregon. A lot of New York products on this Sacred Heart team. Fairfield is very accessible to New York State. In fact, if you catch traffic on the right day and catch a good wave behind you, maybe about an hour from New York City, might have to be a very good wave. Final 3 seconds of the first period, still no score at 1:49 between Shoup and Harnsberger.
And right now, Shoup's got to be licking his chops. Harnsberger takes bottom to start the second period. So you know what we can expect here to start things off. Let's get to that cross wrist and let's start trying to tilt guys.
I don't know if you ever watched How I Met Your Mother during its television run, but there's an episode where this phantom guy comes on the screen as the character Ted is making decisions over the course of the night, and every decision Ted makes is, you have chosen poorly. And that's what comes to mind for me when anyone wants to be on the bottom when you're dealing with Kyle Shoup and Thomas Haynes in particular.
Yeah, I mean, both those guys, they've got it figured out whenever it comes to the top position. Shoup there, we saw him get 2 back points on the edge of the mat, and he's going right back to it as he chops Harnsberger down and is working towards that cross wrist once again. And it's just a credit to him. He sticks with it the entire time. A lot of guys, they'll give up on it, but really Shoup, he does it till the end. He got in a bad position because of that, but was able to bail out and only give up the escape. But you got to credit him. He goes for it every time, and he doesn't matter who's underneath him. He's going to try to get that wrist, and he's going to try to run that tilt.
Quality work by Harnsberger to wriggle himself free with 55 seconds to go in the second period. 2-1 the Shoup lead. 44 seconds of riding time for Shoup. Now, I was thinking just before he almost put himself in a bad spot, what's most impressive about the way Shoup and Haynes go about riding on top is pretty fundamentally sound, where you don't see them get caught while they're being aggressive about generating points for themselves.
Well, and really, I mean, these are 2 Pennsylvania guys you're talking about, and that's really where Pennsylvania separates themselves in terms of high school wrestling. The guys, what they can do on top, they ride really hard, they find ways to turn, and that's how they really, extend themselves and separate themselves away from a lot of the other guys in the country, is their ability to ride and score points from the top position.
Why do you think that's the case?
I don't know. It must be just something in the home cooking, or I'm not really sure, Schwabi, but it's just something the Pennsylvania guys are known for. They ride tough. They score a lot of points on top, and you don't really want to go underneath a guy who's pretty talented from the state of Pennsylvania.
End of the second period, 2-1 the Lock Haven lead for Kyle Shoup. The overall 16-0 Lock Haven. thus far a successful senior night for the Bald Eagles.
Now we see that same trip that we saw at 133 pounds by Daly, by Hernsberger. A nice little trip that they do where they just pull on the far side of the head and use their foot to elevate the near ankle. And really it puts you in some danger. Sits you to your butt, and they can kind of lean you back and get you to your back if you're not paying attention.
Shoup with an escape and then a takedown for 2, and he's up 5-1.
Good work by Shoup. A lot of stick-to-itiveness on that shot. He got himself in deep and continued to run his feet. Hernsberger, though, he fended it off for a while, but a good job by Shoup to continue to use his head to drive into that guy and get that takedown.
Whistle with 1:28 to go in the third. Hernsberger to his feet. Shoup puts him back down to the mat. Kyle Shoup, the 149-pound champion at the Matttown Open back on November 28th. Of course, Matttown Open Part 2 on Sunday. As Scott Moore talked about during the coaches show at Haywood's on the Green earlier in the week, Sunday, more of an opportunity for some of the young guys who haven't gotten as many on-mat opportunities over the course of the season.
Yeah, good opportunity for these guys. You know, National Collegiate Open is always a tournament that comes up in February where guys can really, get some late season work in, some late season live competition. But now there's just another opportunity and something much closer to home as well, right in the backyard, right in Lock Haven. So good job by Coach Moore just continuing to promote the program and give his guys, the most opportunity to compete.
Final 40 seconds. Riding time should be a point for Shoup as the wrestlers go out across the way. 5-1 the Shoup lead, a minute 37 of riding time, so riding time will matter officially.
And I'm sure if you're Shoup right now, you're looking to get that major. You look at the scoreboard; it's a 6-1 lead essentially. If you can get to that tilt again and get the 4 count, then he'll be able to lock up that major decision. And I'm sure that's what the coaching staff is telling him as well. Continue to work on top. Not enough time really to get those 2 takedowns that he would need for the major. So we'll see if he can get to his turn here before time expires.
He has 15 seconds on the clock. Trying to flatten Hernsberger out one more time in the final 5 seconds. Tried to roll him over for the tilt, but wasn't quite able to do it nonetheless. A workmanlike 6-1 win with the riding time of 2:13 for Kyle Shoup, and it is now a 19-0 Lock Haven lead.
It's just another solid performance by Shoup. Hernsberger's he's a tough customer. He's a guy that's really been a staple in the lineup for Sacred Heart this season. When you look through the box scores, he's usually one of the guys that's picking up wins for these guys. So for him, he had a tough opponent in Shoup, and Shoup did a good job of just controlling the entire 7 minutes of that match.
At 1:57, our final bout before halftime, it will be true freshman Jonathan Ross at 7-8 on the season against Casey Mitchell of Sacred Heart. Mitchell, a senior of South Windsor, Connecticut. Ross aggressive right from the outset, and he brings his man Mitchell down to the mat for a 2-point takedown.
Yeah, good job by Ross. He got to the takedown early, just like he did last night against Clarion. Gets right to the leg, finishes strong. Now we'll see how he does with staying on top. I know he gave that up a little bit, early on in the match, but was eventually able to extend his lead and get a big victory. But it's going to be important for him to continue to ride tough on top and really build up that riding time here in the first period.
And I know how excited Scott Moore is, and he talked about each of the last 2 days in the pre-match interviews for the home fans to be able to see the true full-out starting lineup these last couple days. And there's an excellent chance 8 or 9 of these guys are in the starting lineup come season opener 2017-2018 as well.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the future and you see how, this team's really starting to shape up. You have a lot of these young guys, these underclassmen that are going to be right back at it next year. Obviously some adjustments could be made. Depends on how big guys get in the offseason. Maybe they make that jump to the next weight class, and then how the freshmen pan out. But right now, you look at a guy like Ross. He's making his mark. He's taking advantage of the opportunity that's set in front of him. A 6-0 lead right now. He's looking for more back points off that offense from the top position. He's got that big tilt as well, much like Shoup does, and he's not afraid to go after it.
Minute 21 to go in the first period. As you mentioned, those 4 back points by Ross, giving him a 6-0 lead. A minute 35 of riding time, and he's looking for more back points against Mitchell.
He's just not able to get Mitchell into his lap, and Mitchell's just doing a good job of digging his heels in and popping his hips out, and he doesn't really allow Ross to pull him into his lap. So he's, for Ross, it may just take getting a fresh start here while we're sitting on the edge, and get yourself to the middle, force Mitchell to wrestle in the center of the mat, and that might give him some more opportunities to score more back points.
Final 40 seconds of the first period. Talking about what's to come in the future for Caven. I know many wrestling fans read the Penwives story earlier in January. Chance Marsteller enrolled back at Lock Haven, says he would like to wrestle for Lock Haven. That decision and how that'll all play out is still months down the road, but it may be a real nice problem for Scott Moore to have if guys start bumping up in weight, as far as where you slot all these guys in and making room for everyone with all the depth they have coming back. If a Chance Marsteller, if the possibility exists that he does come back next season.
Right. I mean, obviously you look at the name and you look at what his capabilities are. But if you're Coach Moore at this point in time, you just got to focus on the guys you got in the room right now, because that's, to look at the outside and see, what could be or what might be, you really can't determine how that's going to play out. So, but Ross here, though, he got 4 more back points at the end of that period, and he takes top to start the second. He's going to try to close this thing out on top and see if he can get a couple more turns with that tilt and get a tech fall over Mitchell.
Ross with the early takedown and 2:50 of riding time. He dominated that first period with panache. And when we talk about potential outsiders coming in, that doesn't even include the freshman class, freshmen who are redshirting now. And so the potential options that may be on the platter for Scott Moore next season appear to be extremely plentiful.
Yeah, and it's really about these guys that are in the room. They're going to just continue to build themselves because there's 10 spots and there's many more guys in that room than 10. So they're all going to be competing for a few spots. And when you look at it in that fact, you got to be excited if you're Coach Moore and the rest of the coaching staff, because if these guys are battling and they continue to make each other better, the sky's the limit really for this program.
Ross riding for a full minute to start the second period. Hasn't been able to generate additional points, but his riding time now up to 3:55. And you hit the nail on the head when you talk about that you just don't know what's going to happen down the line, because a year ago around this time, all of the talk in Lock Haven was 3 big transfers coming into the program. Thomas Haynes has been as advertised and has been a major contributor, but the guys we weren't talking about were Kyle Shoup, DJ Fellman, Jared Segrist, Corey Hazel, and those have been the newcomers who have made a significant impact along with Haynes.
Yeah, and that's something to be excited about. These are guys that, they're in the room, they're getting better, but there was a lot of questions out. Just would they develop into being a solid Division I wrestler? Would they develop into guys that were going to be a potential 3-4 year starter? And right now, looking at them, yes, yeah, they are. They're developing into guys that have already won 20, 25 matches in their early career. In a Division I schedule. Wrestling at places like Journeyman, wrestling at places like the Virginia Duels. So they're developing. They're getting a lot of great experience early on in their career. Here you look at Ross again, just putting up a lot of points and gets that technical fall. He's one of those guys that you gotta consider in that group, that young group that's showing some success. Obviously, he hasn't had as many matches under his belt as some of those other guys, but from what we've seen here the past 2 nights from Jonathan Ross, you really got to be pleased.
Absolutely, a tech fall as he closed out a 16-0 win in 4:52. That takes us to halftime. It's 24-0 Waukegan. You're listening to Waukegan Wrestling on the Bear Country Sports Network.
At Hiller's Fuel Oil, they don't hate the cold, they heat the cold. Hiller's believes there's no inconvenient time or location to deliver fuel. Hiller's providing on- and off-road diesel, gasoline, grease, and motor oil skid tanks and loading racks for self-pickup. Locally owned for over 60 years, Hiller's makes first-time customers lifetime customers. 570-865-4879. Or look for the Exxon sign, Cemetery Street, Jersey Shore. Hiller's Fuel Oil, they don't hate the cold, they heat the cold. Hiller's Fuel Oil in Jersey Shore.
For over 100 years, Dice Surgical and Home Health Center has been helping Lycoming County residents improve their quality of life with scooters, wheelchairs, hospital beds, lift chairs, diabetic shoes, and aids for daily living. Their showroom at 1300 Sheridan Street in Williamsport offers easy access and plenty of free parking. Dice Surgical and Home Health Center, over 100 years of local ownership with quality personal service to help improve your quality of life. Call 570-322-0656.
Your physical therapist should be as invested in your recovery as you are. Call 570-726-0331 for Chapel Physical Therapy, where you'll receive one-on-one treatment sessions from highly trained physical therapist Erica Chapel. Erica will develop a customized therapy plan to meet your individual needs. Currently welcoming new patients. Achieve your goals with Chapel Physical Therapy, Route 64 between Mill Hall and Lamar. 570-726-0331. Chapel Physical Therapy.
The Grammy Awards, live Sunday, February 12th. Last year, Alabama Shakes took home 3, including Best Alternative Album.
When we started this, we were in high school, and we just did it for fun. We never thought we'd be getting any awards or any recognition like this. And I tell you, my heart is beating a mile a minute.
Nominated for Best Alternative Album this year, Bon Iver, David Bowie, Iggy Pop, PJ Harvey, and Radiohead. For all nominations, go to Grammy.com. Believe in Music, the Grammys, hosted by James Corden, Sunday the 12th on CBS.
Shop the Winter Rethink Kitchen and Bath event for Home Depot exclusives, like the Kohler Rubicon Center Set Faucet. Now at a new, lower price, just $79. Its brushed nickel finish and Art Deco style complement any decor. Contemporary, classic, yours. No one offers more Kohler for your kitchen and bath than the Home Depot. And right now, the Kohler Rubicon faucet is just $79. More saving, more doing. U.S. only. Valid through March 9th.
It's WQBR, the Bear.
Halftime, Waukegan Wrestling. Senior night, they lead Sacred Heart 24-0. When we come back, we'll have the second half. You're listening to Waukegan University Wrestling on the Bear Country Sports Network.
Dr. Jason Madigan at Sport and Spine Chiropractic Rehab, not just a chiropractor, but also a nationally certified strength and conditioning specialist. Sport and Spine Chiropractic Rehab, providing comprehensive evaluations and programs for musculoskeletal injuries, including post-surgical rehab, injury prevention programs, and strength and conditioning programs. 570-858-5645 or visit their Facebook page today for more information. Optimize your health and performance. 8 North Grove Street, Lock Haven. Food and fun with friends and family when you go to Haywood's on the Green in Mill Hall. With a large bar and their big screen TVs, Haywood's is where you go to catch the game with your buddies. Their spacious dining room and kids menu make them a family favorite too. Ask Haywood's about their special banquet menu for events in a ballroom capable of hosting parties up to 200 people. Call 570-748-8402 for reservations and check them out at haywoodsotg.com and on Facebook and Instagram. Haywood's.
We're local, we're friendly, and we're fast. You gotta love the hometown guys.
So why is Kubota the best-selling subcompact lineup in America? It could be because between the cruise control, halogen headlights, hydrostatic transmission with high and low gear shift, you forget you're driving a subcompact. We're the hometown guys, Dotter Equipment, and we think you choose Kubota because our BX series has the power and versatility for plowing, digging, hauling, mowing, and much, much more. A powerful and efficient Kubota 3-cylinder diesel offers power unparalleled for tractors this size. And the family at Dotter Equipment offers service before and after the sale. The Kubota BX Subcompact from Dotter Equipment, Route 64 in Mill Hall and Route 75 South in Honey Grove. Online at dotterequip.com. Dotterer for Kubota.
We're local, we're friendly, and we're fast. You gotta love the hometown guys. You gotta love the hometown guys.
The Bear. WQBR, Avis Williamsport State College.
Back for the second half, 24-0 the Lock Haven lead on senior night. Jonathan Schwab, Derek Caldwell on the Bear Country Sports Network. Lock Haven, forfeit win at 125, and then on the mat victories at 133, 141, 149, and 157. We're now at 165, where it'll be true freshman Jared Segrist against Sacred Heart's Matt Fisher. Segrist 19 and 18 on the year.
Yeah, Segrist, yesterday he put together a solid performance. He had a pretty tough opponent, but was able to keep it tight, but wasn't able to finish things off. Late in that match, he had what we thought might have been a takedown. Officials were asked to challenge it, or asked to review it rather, and he just wasn't able to get that takedown late in the third period against DeLong from Clarion.
It was a difficult decision for the coaching staff because they could have challenged an escape that had possibly taken place a few seconds earlier than when it was awarded and tried to send the match into overtime, or go for the takedown challenge and the win. They elected to challenge the takedown, didn't go their way, but no question, Segrist acquitted himself well against the outstanding wrestler of the 2016 PSAC Championships, Evan DeLong, as Segrist no worse for the wear tonight. He's already out to a 2-0 lead on the early takedown.
Yeah, he wants to finish this dual meet season off on a good note. He wants to be able to finish on top, and he got right to work immediately. Got to the leg, was able to bow him down and drive across and get the takedown. So he has that 2-1 lead, and I'm sure right now Coach Moore wants him to continue to extend. And here is his opponent, and Fisher gets to the leg. Good job by Segrist to square up and not give up the two himself.
Fisher, a co-captain for this Sacred Heart team. In on a leg on Segrist, trying to spin to finish the shot with a minute 20 to go in the first period. Segrist, though, gets around the legs and finishes a shot of his own for a 4-1 edge.
Yeah, good job by Segrist, and really he's looking for back points right now. He's able to get that bent leg Turk. He's in a good spot there and can really look to capitalize as he starts to peel back the head of Fisher, and he's going to get a count now. Looks like he only got a 1 count, though, but he's still got that bent leg Turk, and as I say that, he gives it up.
Final 51 seconds of the first period. 1:10 of riding time for Segrist. Segrist has Fisher in real difficulty on his back right now.
Yeah, that was a good job by Segrist. He saw that he had that tricep rolled deep, and he put Fisher to his hip and was able to get that crossface cradle and get 4 back points. So a good job by Segrist to extend his lead. He's got a leg half right now, and he could really use that. Rather, he looks to go bottom leg cradle, but a good job by Fisher to belly out and not give that up.
8-1 the Segrist lead. Final 5 seconds of the first period. 1:56 and counting. Riding time for the true freshman at Mannheim Central High School.
Just a solid first period by Segrist. Able to get 2 takedowns and a set of 4 back points. We're going to go neutral again to start the second period. I'm sure he's going to be looking takedown and turn and has a healthy amount of riding time to start the second period as well.
Dives in on a leg. Again, has Fisher in difficulty. Fisher, a senior out of Oneida, New York.
And Fisher right now, he's doing a good job of defending the shot by Segrist as he rolls through with a nice little hip roll. And he squares up his own hips and works to go around behind. Gets the far ankle with Segrist. Segrist doing a good job, though, just staying locked around the leg, not really panicking. Is able to readjust his lock and go out unscathed.
1:11 left, second period. 8-1 the Segrist lead at 165. The Lock Haven team lead 24-0.
For Segrist right now, he's doing a great job of body faking, gets that single leg, just keeps driving those feet. Just needs to get his right knee behind the ankle of Segrist, or rather of Fisher, and finish this shot. He's doing a good job of keeping his lock above the knee, but Fisher doing a good job of whizzing down as Segrist wasn't able to hold on.
Segrist with an exasperated exhale as Fisher shook loose.
It's a tough position to be in whenever you have that leg locked in the single leg and you're trying to run it and you just cannot get above the knee and finish. It does wear a lot out you because all that weight is down on top of your elbow and on your tricep as you're trying to drive across and finish that shot.
Final 10 seconds of the second period. Segrist in on a double leg and finishes a shot at the end of the period. And he will go to the third with a 10-1 lead plus 2:05 of riding time.
Yeah, that's a good job by Segrist. He didn't give up on his game plan going into that second period. He continued to shoot, was able to get a stall call against Fisher, and was able to find himself on top to finish the second period with that late takedown. Segrist right now doing a great job riding that claw and staying on top. Be interested to see what he does here, Schwab, if he can, if he starts to cut him and try to get a bunch of takedowns, or if he's going to try to work towards his turns and use that riding time advantage and really seal that up.
Lift and return for Segrist with 1:28 to go in the third. Riding time will be a point in his favor, but right now he's thinking tech fall or fall.
Yeah, and fall. He's going to try to score some bonus points. He's in a good position to do that right now. As he's continuing to work for that cross-face cradle. And really, what we've seen from Segrist this year, gritty guy. He fights hard and he fights tooth and nail in pretty much every position, regardless of who he's wrestling.
Final minute of the match for Jared Segrist. He has to feel good that it looks like he will close out his regular season with a winning record. That was at stake in this match, 19-18 on the year, and he has shown great potential for what his future is going to be as a Lock Haven Bald Eagle.
Yeah, and I know that this guy was, he was the marquee guy coming in on this recruiting class. So, if you're Coach Moore, you got to think, this is a guy that we can really build our team around, in years to come. And really, it's not even about building the team around it. It's just about using him to build the team back, to build it up, because the guys around him are just as much quality as he is, as he's got this cradle locked tight, and he's trying to find a way to get the fall, but he gets the four back and gives up the escape, which essentially is going to give up the tech fall unless he can get a takedown here in the last 5 seconds.
He went for the double leg, could not quite complete the move, and he will settle, if settle is the term, for a 15-2 win plus riding time, 16-2. Close to the regular season for Jared Segrist, and it is 28-0 Lock Haven.
Good job by Segrist, and I don't know if he necessarily realized the match situation that he was in. If he just held on and stayed on top, he'd get the tech fall, because he kind of let Fisher go pretty easily and just didn't want to get himself in a precarious situation. But a great job by Segrist. Scored early, scored often, and that's really what we talked about in the front end of this broadcast was these guys, scoring a lot of points and putting up some bonus points.
First senior wrestler of the night for Waukegan. It'll be Adam Mackey at 174. He will face Dom Chelly of Sacred Heart.
And Mackey looking to go for that fall early. He's got the cow catcher, and then he drops down to that single leg on the right side. And Mackey, he had a great victory last night, Schwabe, with that pinfall, in the third period.
He looks like he is running an invisible race against somebody to see who can pin their opponent the fastest.
He came out, just dug both underhooks. I thought he was going to go body lock and bear hug. But, Chelly early on, he's got his hands full with a guy who wants to really show out on senior night.
Already 2-0 Mackey with the early takedown, and now he's got Chelly in a bad way. Chelly, though, with the escape and nearly with two of his own, a scramble situation.
And Mackey's got to be careful. I know he's coming out guns blazing, but he's got to keep himself under control because he doesn't want to allow himself to get in an awkward situation where he gives up a takedown and maybe some back points of his own.
And the scramble ends with Chelly, a takedown of his own. So he's within 4-3 with 1:45 to go in the first period. This is what we've seen from Adam Mackey. Not afraid to be in high-scoring matches. Almost wants guys in that mentality of come be as aggressive as I'm being and open up a little bit, and then looking for that kill shot.
Yeah, and it's like what we said last night. He's not afraid to get in those scramble situations. He almost creates them himself in the hopes of you wanting to retaliate and get into that scramble because he feels confident, he feels comfortable in all those situations. So for him, I think once that scramble started to get a little out of hand, he's like, let me just give this takedown up. Let me settle things down and get back to my offense.
1:13 to go in the first. 4-3 the Mackey lead. Waukegan with a 28-0 lead overall. So Waukegan has officially clinched a 500 record with the win. They'll move to 8-8 on the year. Back-to-back 500 seasons for the Bald Eagles. Mackey in on a leg, and another one of those scramble situations unfolding.
And Mackey, he's got to be careful here because still right now he's technically in the bottom position, even though it's really a 50-50 position. So if he exposes, the ref's going to start counting points. So he's got to be very cautious of that and very aware to not expose his back and give up any sort of back points, at his own demise, really.
He now shifts to the top position, but they're still all tied up with one another with 15 seconds to go in the first. And now Mackey's got his man Chelly nearly to his back. Chelly was able to roll onto his chest with 5 seconds to go in the first. Chelly looking for a late escape in the first, and Mackey concedes it at the final 10th of a second. It'll be 6-4 Mackey after one.
Great job by Chelly, in this first period. Mackey came out guns blazing, really trying to stick him 30 seconds in and call it a night. But Chelly, he hung around. He funked right back with Mackey and was able to keep himself in this match. And, right now we're in a one takedown bout come start of the second period.
1:02 of riding time for Adam Mackey. Mackey, 11 falls on the season. Best on the team. Entered this week, top 5 in Division I in falls. And he has wrestled all over the place. Weight-wise, during his collegiate career, he has been a bit of a Swiss Army knife for Scott Moore's program as necessary and has found a home late in this season as a 174-pounder.
and he's got to be excited about his opportunity. 174 pounds, in the EWL. It's got a couple of good guys, but really no one that's like a top 5 individual that's going to just set the tone for the rest of the league. It's not going to be one guy in the field. It's going to be 3-4 guys battling for 1 or 2 spots come early March in Bloomsburg.
And with Mackey's pinning ability, he can catch a guy in the wrong moment, and all of a sudden he's head to St. Louis.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We saw he did it again, last night against Regas. He got that big pin, and now Mackey looking to put Chelly in a bad spot as well. He's taking his time in this position. He wants to try to, put him to his back. He's going to try to get the fall here, a defensive fall really, or a fall from neutral. And eventually Chelly just bails out, but it was close. We really didn't have the angle on it, Schwabi, but it was close to being a fall there for Mackey once again.
Instead, an 8-4 lead for Adam Mackey with 10 seconds to go in the second period. Mackey will ride out the frame, as he has an 8-4 advantage.
A good job by Mackey. He definitely slowed down the pace. It wasn't that gung-ho that we saw in the first 3 minutes of this match. He extended his lead, give himself a little bit of a cushion, and I will see if he can go to work on top and get that fall that he's been looking for since the start of this match.
Mackey's overall record, a very steady 20-12 this season. And he didn't like that situation, wanted to wrestle from neutral, so he lets Chelly out, and it's 8-5. Mackey up. Tom Chelly, as a high school senior out of Katona, New York, a member of the All-Hudson Valley Westchester wrestling team. 160-pounder in high school. Built some muscle, built his way up to 174. And right now, Mackey creating another scramble, and he has Chelly to his back, and he has the fall.
And that was just a great job by Mackey. Really just fed the leg to Chelly, and sat to his hip, got that near side cradle, and was able to get the fall here at 5:45 in the third.
An even dozen falls on the year for Adam Mackey, and it's 34-0 Lock Haven.
It's a great performance by the senior, and he went out the way he wanted to from the start. Was able to get that fall come the third period.
We advance to 184, where it's redshirt freshman Corey Hazel, ranked 28th in the initial coaches panel rankings. He will battle against Elliot Antwerp. Redshirt junior out of Connecticut, Xavier High School. Hazel in the same boat as Ronnie Perry. First match back from injury last night. Lost close to Scott Marmol. Trying to get the sea legs back because this will be his last competition until EWLs, as he has the leg on Antler. Now working the body lock, trying to pick up some early points 35 seconds in.
Yeah, for Hazel, it's just a matter of him getting back to doing what he does best. Get to the leg, find a way to finish. And really for him, it might just be a matter of him just slowing down, having that patience. He's very good at getting to the leg. He struggles on his finishes sometimes because he just tries to bulldoze guys over and kind of lets his technique go by the wayside. And there we saw in that situation where he got to the leg, perfect opportunity for him to score. Backside, get a backside double and get that takedown. Rather, he tried to come back out in front and just lift the guy and put a big return to the mat. But you got to love his enthusiasm, the energy that he brings to every match, because he's a guy that is fun to watch. He's very animated out on the mat, and he loves to go out there and really tussle with the big boys.
And that time, Hazel did put the time in to develop the move, and a 2-point takedown for an early lead as the wrestlers go out on the near side right in front of us with 1:20 to go in the first period. Corey Hazel is the best of all worlds for Scott Moore because he wrestles the style that Coach Moore wants his guys wrestling. He's good, and he's local.
Yeah, he draws that local crowd. He's just out of Spring Mills, Penns Valley High School. So he's able to get everyone coming down just about 40 minutes away to come watch this kid. And he's got a lot of career left in him. So it's going to be exciting to see. Next month, come early March for the EWL Championships, it's going to be big for him. He lost 2 out of 3 to Marmol, so that's going to set him back a little bit. But I'll be interested to see, how things shake up at 184 pounds in the EWL this year.
The upper weights are going to be fascinating at EWLs because you go 174 up, and Lock Haven has every opportunity to be anywhere from highly competitive to, in the case of Thomas Haynes, you'd have to say a slight favorite.
Yeah, I mean, the top 4 weights, especially with the way that Mackey's been wrestling as of late, he's really been on a tear. He's been scoring bonus points. Hazel, he's a young guy, but he's got a lot of wins under his belt so far in 16, 17. And Sponseller and Haynes, they've just been consistent. They win the matches they're supposed to win, and then they win some of them that they're not supposed to win. So for those guys, the top 4 weights you got to be excited about. And then even 33, 41, you look at those guys. They're also guys that are going to be in the hunt come March.
I believe it's Ryan Wolf up at Ryder at 197. Am I remembering all the way back to December?
Yeah, you're spot on, Schwabi. So yeah, Wolf and Sponseller will be a fun one to watch. We'll see how those guys, match up. Come March, we're not really sure. We haven't seen Wolf, for a few months. He could be having an injury. He might be on a hot streak whenever he gets to Bloomsburg. So it's just going to be a matter of who puts together the best performance on that Saturday, and who's able to come away, with an EWL title or at least a spot at the NCAA championships.
An escape to open the second period by Antler, and Sacred Heart's wrestler ties up Hazel at 2, 1:34 to go, second period. 34-0 Lock Haven overall. Thinking back to that matchup with Sponseller and Wolf when Ryder came to Lock Haven earlier this season, Sponseller put Wolf in some uncomfortable positions in that first period. Wolf eventually settled down and won, but Sponseller planted the seed in Wolf's head that he can do some damage against him.
Yeah, and I think really for Sponseller, he's just gotten better as the season's gone on. And right now, Antler in deep on that double leg, and Hazel does a great job defending. He uses those strong hips to square away Antler and doesn't allow him to get that finish on the double leg.
You can make a case Antler the best guy on this Sacred Heart team, the only wrestler with Sacred Heart who scored a win at the Midlands tournament this year, a 3-1 victory over Jason Grimes of American.
Yeah, Antler's one of those other guys, much like Harnsberger, who's a staple in this Sacred Heart lineup, and really he's a guy that's a leader out for this team, being a redshirt junior, his 4th year in the program. So, he's a guy they look to each and every time to go in there and get a win for his team. And right now, he's toe to toe with Hazel, and he's giving him really all he can handle right now.
Hazel just got knocked to his back, fell backwards. Nowhere near him was Elliot Antler, so Hazel was able to spin to his feet, and we get a restart with now 17 seconds to go, second period. 2-2 the score at 184 pounds, 34-0 the Lock Haven lead overall.
Yeah, Hazel just needs to settle in and just get that next takedown. And that's really what it's going to come down to for him. He's able to get to the leg. He's done that multiple times against Antler. He's going to get the opportunity to start on bottom. Take your time, get out, and extend your lead once you get to your feet. Stay out of the chippiness of it. You don't want to give up a stupid point, for cracking a guy too hard on the side of the head. Obviously, we want him to be physical, but you got to be smart about it as well.
If he's able to navigate his way to a win, as he is on the bottom to start the third, maybe this is the best thing for him. You want competitive competition. If you've only got a couple matches before that month of workouts and tapering.
Yeah, and for him, it's just a matter of getting back in that rhythm, getting back in that routine. You know, right off the bat in the season, 10-0 to start things. You know, he showed off a lot of wins, beat a couple of guys that, you know, maybe on paper he shouldn't have. But, you know, he really set the tone for his season. Now, you know, he's got a few losses. He's taken a few hits, and it's really about how he responds to those losses that's going to dictate, you know, how he does at the EWL Championships. And, you know, if those things pan out for him in Bloomsburg, then at the NCAAs in St. Louis.
Hazel, 23-8 on the year, still battling Antler, looking for the go-ahead escape with 1:19 to go in the third. Riding time currently a non-factor. Antler with a body lock, both wrestlers on their feet.
And Antler's got this body lock tight, but Hazel, good job. Nice little lat drop, and Antler almost able to get the takedown. He's behind, but still hasn't gotten the takedown yet. And now they're going to give it that escape.
So, compelling series of moves, but it's 3-2 Hazel.
And for me, I don't know why I thought that the escape was already awarded, Schwabi, but I thought, I mean, points are going to start flying here real soon. But no, good job by Hazel. He kept his head, and he was just able to break that lock. Almost able to capitalize with the lat drop from their feet. But now it's just a matter of hand fighting, holding good position. If the leg comes open and there, he's able to get to the leg. He needs to lock his hands, though, because he's getting flattened out right now by Antler. And they haven't called a takedown yet, but that was close because I believe that, you know, his hands were on the mat. And now for Hazel, he needs to work himself up. He's still got time to score an escape and knot things up. But Antler, you know, good job. He stuck with it. He was able to get the takedown and get the W here for Sacred Heart and get him off the schneid, really.
Corey Hazel, perhaps some frustration, perhaps some exhaustion, wrestling competitively back-to-back nights after not wrestling for 3 weeks competitively. And credit to Elliot Antler, who came up with the late takedown for a 4-3 win. And the Lock Haven lead now 34-3.
And for Hazel, you know, it's a matter of just getting yourself recovered, getting yourself to a point where you feel good. Because at this point, you know, that match is just out of the way. It's done. You can't linger on it. You can't beat yourself up over it after tonight. You got to get yourself back to the right stage mentally, where we saw him in November and December, so that he can make a run at things and compete for a spot at that national tournament.
And sometimes for young guys, you go through your high school careers, you don't get banged up, everything works on schedule, and then you come to college and you get nicked up a little bit, and all of a sudden you're out of routine, you're out of rhythm, and mentally you're not in the same place.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is it's just about how you respond to the setbacks. If you're able to find a way to build yourself back up, you know, mentally, physically, you know, and respond to that, you know, he'll be all right. But it's just a matter of him, you know, getting himself on the mend, getting himself ready to go for that first Saturday in March.
At 197, a speedy takedown from Tristan Sponseller, the redshirt sophomore, against Mark Boyle of Sacred Heart. 2:09 to go, first period, 2-0 the Sponseller lead. Sponseller now 26-6 on the year.
Yeah, he's put together a nice sophomore campaign for himself as he continues to just improve with each and every match. You know, we see him looking to go to his turn. Pretty patented for him as well. He loves going through that roll through half, pulling guys back into his lap and popping his hips and running that half Nelson. So we'll see if he can get to that offense once again. Again, he's going cross wrist, getting to that tilt. And right now for Boyle, he's got to work to get his wrist free in order to come up and have a chance to get out.
Sponseller has positioning for some back points.
Good job by Sponseller. And, even though he lost that cross wrist because Boyle broke the lock, he did a good job of keeping him tight into his hips and getting that 4 count and really building his lead.
Sponseller still in charge with 58 seconds to go in the first period. A minute 39 of riding time for the young man of East Berlin, PA, Bermudian Springs High School.
And a good job by Sponseller as he runs that half Nelson, and he's got a bottom leg cradle. He might have Boyle in some trouble. He's got to make sure he keeps his toes in and suck Boyle back in. But it looks like he may have gotten 2 back points there for that little exchange.
Nate Chapman will confirm for the scorers table. Not awarded up top yet. Still 8-0 Sponseller. On the restart, Sponseller preventing Boyle from working to his feet, flattens him out.
Sponseller putting a lot of weight on the lower back of Boyle. He's got that short boot in. His hips sunk in deep as he looks to hip over and try to get a 2 count maybe before time expires. But I don't think he's going to do it, Schwabe.
Time is done in the first period. 8-0 for Tristan Sponseller. Lock Haven with a 34-3 lead. Another nice benefit of a win tonight. 4th straight year under Scott Moore. Lock Haven will finish with a winning record at home as they will close out the home sked at 3-2 this season.
Sponseller, he's doing a great job here. He's just like we said yesterday, so consistent. Scores points, extends his lead. Is smart in pretty much every situation, and continues to just work and score points every time he gets a chance.
The escape to open the second gives Sponseller a 9-0 lead with a minute 30 now to go, second period. He also has the riding time advantage at 2:22, and now he's in on the leg of Boyle.
Boyle went inside trip attempt, and he got in pretty deep, but Sponseller met him right there with his hips. So a 50-50 position there. Neither guy was really advancing. A good call by the official to just go stalemate and let these guys wrestle back on their feet.
Boyle, a versatile athlete. Played football, wrestled, played baseball also in high school. Young man out of Raleigh, Mass. Triton Regional. You mentioned you have to search a little bit to find them in New England. First one that comes to mind, Vic Avery up at Edinburgh, had a nice career. Massachusetts native. But Sponseller now has Boyle to his back. Could not pin him there, though. With 36 seconds to go in the second.
Yeah, he had him pinched pretty tight, but wasn't able to hold him there for any sort of a count. Thought maybe there was an opportunity for some back points, but Sponseller just going back to work. And now a nice hip by Boyle as he really folded Sponseller underneath him, and now he looks to score, but Sponseller doing a good job of just keeping his arms wrapped around the legs, not allowing Boyle to really advance his position.
Whistle with 10.4 to go in the second. 11-1 the Sponseller lead. You can see Boyle brings a little bit to the table.
Yeah, Boyle, he's fought off some positions. Sponseller, I think he's outclassed him a little bit. But, for Boyle, he's hanging tough. He's staying strong and really not allowing Sponseller to extend his lead and get this tech. There's a few opportunities where he could have done that earlier in the second period, and Boyle, he fought off his back, stayed out of some ugly situations, and was able to keep this match alive.
Prowling off to our right, Brad Emmerich, the senior, getting ready to close the night on his senior night. Sponseller riding to open the third period. It has been a clean night for the Bald Eagles, leading 34-3.
And this is just kind of what we, you have that expectation. You want to finish things on a good note against against a team like Sacred Heart, you just outclass them a little bit and go out and score a lot of points. And these guys, they wrestle with confidence, and they knew what they had to do, and they wanted to send out their seniors on a good note, and then they did just that.
Speaks well of the culture of the program, especially for a young group, that this is the tone that they set now year in, year out, that this is how you send off your seniors.
Yeah, and then, that you always want to send your leaders out, your captains, out on a good note. Leave a lasting memory, a lasting taste here at the Thomas Fieldhouse. Kudos to those guys. Sponseller once again, he gets a fall actually out of the tilt, but he got to his offense on top once again, and just a good solid performance on another night for Tristan Sponseller.
Another night, another win for Sponseller. He earns the fall at the 5:44 mark, and it is 40-3 Lock Haven. I wonder how far Sports Information Director Doug Spatafor, his GAs, Jeff Ross and Matt Gio, will have to go back through the archive to see the last time Lock Haven scored this many points as a team against a Division I opponent.
Yeah, trying to think back through when I was here, and then really I can't find anything that would, maybe the early days when Clarion was really down. Teague-Moore was first at the helm at Clarion and really had a team that didn't have many guys on it. That might be probably the last time they were throwing up 40-plus points, but it's got to be somewhere in that realm, I would think, as to when they scored 40-plus points last.
Their season high for points scored, as you hear the ovation for Brad Emmerich. On first look, it appears to be the 35 they put up against Cleveland State last Friday. So now, as Brad Emmerich prepares to face heavyweight John Hartnett of Sacred Heart, and that match gets going, if you can carry me through the start of this, like you have been for the last six matches and 9 bouts tonight, I'll take a look, and let's see if we can find a 40-plus night against a D1 foe for the Bald Eagles.
Well, Schwab, you got to give yourself more credit. You think you know less than you really do. You've been doing a great job all this season. I know wrestling isn't your initial forte, but you do a great job with these guys. Absolutely. And Emmerich, this is going to be a great send off for him if he can come out on top here. He really hasn't had as many matches this season as in years past. 13-5 on this senior campaign, but he's put together a solid senior campaign. Having that well above 500 record. For him, it's going to be a matter of just continuing to do what he's done for the past 4 years here at LHU. Continue to work hard and create opportunity for himself. And last year really was a huge senior night for him on his junior season, getting that victory, that 3-1 victory against Michigan State and sealing the deal for LHU.
That was a monster win as Emmerich comes up with the early takedown to take a 2-0 lead over Hartnett. Hartnett has won his last 2 matches. They win over Binghamton last Saturday also. Picking up a win previous to that. So he's coming on a little bit of a good run. And just to go back to what you were saying, I can tell you what my personal handicap has been all along. We finally figured it out tonight. I'm a native New Englander.
Hey, there's some good programs up there. Don't discredit yourself too much. Now, if you're from Connecticut, then I don't know what to tell you tonight, Schwabi.
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire, okay.
Now, where's the good wrestling up in New Hampshire?
Schwabi, we can go look. We can look through the annals. I think you'll find someone at some point in history from the state of New Hampshire, was on that All-American podium. So, we might have to dig a little bit, but we can find someone.
Someone below us just said an All-American from Penn State was a New Hampshireite. With 36 seconds to go in the first period, Emmerich with a 2-0 lead, nearly able to secure back points. The last Lock Haven win where they scored this big against a Division I opponent, I believe we saw it. It says we broadcast it on the radio, right on the LHU schedule. It was February 20th of 2015, and It was senior night, 48-3 win over Grand Canyon.
So there you have it, Schwabe.
So now we move on to, on the Google search, New Hampshire NCAA Wrestling All-Americans. Final seconds of the first period, 2-0 Emmerich, 42-3 Lock Haven in the overall.
Good period by Emmerich, in that takedown. Just used his weight against Hartnett. Was able to get real heavy with the hands on top of Hartnett's head, get the go behind and take that 2-0 lead. Really build up his riding time, too, as it sits at 1:44 right now. With Emmerich starting on bottom for the second period, he's going to look to build his lead and really start to extend things and look for bonus points against Hartnett.
Hartnett with the lift and replace to the mat. And Emmerich reverses, and now he's got Hartnett in jail, looking for a fall on senior night. And Hartnett just able to roll back to his belly with 1:34 to go in the second, but it is 8-0 for Brad Emmerich.
Good job by Emmerich. He really utilized his weight and his hips. Again, he got the reversal, and Hartnett had all that weight right on his shoulders and on his head. So a good job by him to roll free and get his chest down. He was able to keep this match alive. But Emmerich rolls him straight over the top. A nice little bundle series there that he almost converted into some more back points. So we'll see if he can get back to his offense on top as we go back to the center with 1:07 to go in the second.
Emmerich with an 8-0 lead. For those of you morbidly interested, from 1961 through 2011, New Hampshire yielded, I believe it's 2 All-Americans.
How about Pennsylvania? How many did they have?
More than 2 by 293.
Emmerich doing a great job on top right now. He's just riding really strong on top of Hartnett, using his weight to his advantage. As you can see, there's a clear size difference here in this bout. It's going that inside wrist ride, inside bar, you can call it as well.
In fact, Pennsylvania has more than any other state. That is a source of pride for many Pennsylvanians. Final 10 seconds of the second period, Emmerich with the 8-0 advantage. He might have to come back for future senior nights to wrestle. He has performed well in the spotlight the last 2 years on senior night.
Yeah, he shows out. He knows it's the end of the season. We don't want to miss out on a great opportunity to send the fans off on a high note, send your seniors off on a high note. And this will be 2 years straight if he can close this thing out, as he's in the driver's seat right now, where he's put together a great performance in the last home duel here at the Thomas Fieldhouse.
Wrestlers in the neutral position as they start the third period. And Emmerich fights off a Hartnett shot and comes around for the takedown in a 10-0 lead. One more note to wrap up the state by state. Every state has had at least 1 All-American. There are 2 that have had just 1, as Emmerich amassing back points, 4 back points. He's close to the tech fall. It's 14-0. Those states, Connecticut and Vermont.
There it is.
2 more back points for Brad Emmerich, and he sends Sacred Heart back to Connecticut as Brad Emmerich finishes his regular season career with a flourish. A tech fall by Emmerich in 5:50, and Lock Haven defeats Sacred Heart by a final score of 45-3. We'll be back with the post-match wrap-up. You're listening to Lock Haven Wrestling on the Bear Country Sports Network.
When the seasons change, Ex-Agway in Jersey Shore is ready. Ex-Agway, everything you'll need to win the fight with winter, including rock salt, ice melt, calcium chloride, and snow shovels. Heat up your stove with wood pellets from Ex-Agway. Open 8 till 5 Monday through Friday, 8 till noon Saturdays. Look for the street sign on Allegheny Street in Jersey Shore, directing you down the hill to their 112 Harris Street location. Ex-Agway, local people taking care of local people, 570-398-2770. At Hiller's Fuel Oil, they don't hate the cold, they heat the cold. Hiller's believes there's no inconvenient time or location to deliver fuel. Hiller's providing on- and off-road diesel, gasoline, grease, and motor oil skid tanks and loading racks for self-pickup. Locally owned for over 60 years, Hiller's makes first-time customers lifetime customers. 570-865-4879. Or look for the Exxon sign, Cemetery Street, Jersey Shore. Hiller's Fuel Oil, they don't hate the cold, they heat the cold. Hiller's Fuel Oil in Jersey Shore. Gerhardt Her Insurance has one question for you. How long have you had your insurance with one agency? Are you aware the insurance industry is changing all the time? Many recommend you review the cost of your policies and what that price covers every 3 years. So the smart thing to do is to call Gerhardt Her Insurance in Lock Haven, 570-748-8011. With a 49-year track record of serving Bear Country, they can take care of all of your business and personal insurance needs. Gerhardt Her Insurance, 570-748-8011. Your physical therapist should be as invested in your recovery as you are. Call 570-726-0331 for Chapel Physical Therapy, where you'll receive one-on-one treatment sessions from highly trained physical therapist Erica Chapel. Erica will develop a customized therapy plan to meet your individual needs. Currently welcoming new patients. Achieve your goals with Chapel Physical Therapy, Route 64 between Mill Hall and Lamar. 570-726-0331. Chapel Physical Therapy.
When climbing the stairs becomes difficult, there's no need to leave your home for the sake of mobility. Add safety, peace of mind, and convenience with a Bruno Independent Living Stairlift from Dice Surgical and Home Health Center. The Made in America Bruno Stairlift allows you or a loved one to maintain your independence without dramatic changes to your life or structural changes to your home. With models to fit every budget, visit Dice Surgical and Home Health Center today at 1300 Sheridan Street, Williamsport, or call 570-322-0656.
The Bear, Country 99.9.
Final from the Thomas Fieldhouse. Lock Haven makes it a celebratory senior night, a 45-3 win over Sacred Heart. With the win, Lock Haven closes the regular season at 8-8. Sacred Heart still with 4 road duels in front of them. They fall to 2-9. Let's recap it. Jonathan Schwab, Derek Caldwell. Lock Haven a forfeit win at 125 to go up 6-0. Then a fall from DJ Fellman over Gerard Daly to make it 12-0. The fall coming at the 5:51 mark. At 141, Ronnie Perry back in the win column with a 13-1 major decision over Paul Clee. That made it 16-0 Lock Haven. At 149, Kyle Shoup, a 6-1 triumph over Alex Harnsbarger of Sacred Heart, and it was 19-0 Lock Haven. Jonathan Ross, back-to-back strong days from him as he sent the match into halftime with a Tech Fall 16-0 at the 4:52 mark over Casey Mitchell of Sacred Heart. It was 24-0 LHU. At 165, Jared Segrist with a 16-2 major decision over Matt Fisher of Sacred Heart. It was 28-0 Lock Haven. At 174, Adam Mackey, what does he do? He amasses falls, and he did it again for the 12th time this year. At the 5:45 mark, he put Dom Chelly down for good. It gave Lock Haven a 34-0 edge. Sacred Heart's lone victory came courtesy of Elliot Antler at 184 as he nipped Corey Hazel via a late takedown 4-3. That cut the Lock Haven edge to 34-3. At 197, Tristan Sponseller with a fall at the 5:44 mark. It was 43 Lock Haven, and Lock Haven finished it off. Brad Emmerich enjoying the glow of senior night with a Tech fall 16-0 at the 5:50 mark over John Hartnett, and Lock Haven defeated Sacred Heart 45-3. Derek Caldwell, as you said, not unexpected, but a fitting conclusion to the 2016-2017 dual regular season for Lock Haven.
Yeah, it was expected to be a business-like like effort tonight, and they did exactly that. Hazel, the only guy coming up on the short end of the stick, but that's something that he's going to address, and that's something I'm sure the coaching staff's going to, help build him back up, get him ready, because they're going to need him. Come March in Bloomsburg, they're going to need that guy to place high if they want a chance at an EWL team title. And that's the goal now. That's the goal at hand. Is to come away with that team title. You got 10 guys that are looking really good right now. You go up and down the lineup, and you've got to feel good about where you're at this point in the season. A lot of teams, beat up, banged up, maybe not have all 10 of their starters, but really at this point in the season, this is the best that we've seen LHU all year, I believe.
And that's what Scott Moore believes. He's got a team that's finally at full strength. And if you're going to win EWLs, you can't have any black holes in the lineup. Lock Haven has to feel as though they've got top 3, maybe at worst top 4 guys from top to bottom now.
Yeah, you look at it, the EWL comprised of 7 teams, but really you can get, 2-3 bids at a good amount of the weights. Obviously you're going to have your couple weights where it just doesn't pan out. The rest of the country is just a little more elevated than the rest of the field at your league. So maybe you only have one qualifier, your league champion there. But, with the way the EWL has panned out over the past few years, having 2 or 3 guys in a majority of the weights that qualify, you got to like their odds of being able to punch, 4 or 5 tickets.
That'll be March 4th in Bloomsburg. Lock Haven does have one more morsel of action this weekend, mostly for the young guys, some of the backups. On Sunday, the Matttown Open 2 here in Lock Haven. That gets going at 9:30 a.m. on Sunday. This, though, puts a bow and the completion of the wrapping paper on our 2016-2017 LHU wrestling schedule. And a huge thank you, of course, to our sponsors, and also Derek, to you for the time you put into this, and certainly the work that you put in shows when we get on the air, and it is no exaggeration. I would be rudderless at this without you, so thank you so much for your contribution, and look forward to having you in the booth again next season.
Oh, absolutely. Swabby, it's always a pleasure when I get a chance to come back to the Thomas Fieldhouse and watch these guys do battle. I love being on the air and getting to share these matches with you, teaching you a thing or two about the sport each and every time. So I have fun up here, and I'm glad I'm able to be a part of the Bear Country.
For Sacred Heart, they're back to work tomorrow as they will face off at Bucknell. That's a noon start. And as I said to start the postgame, they still have 4 road duels to come. Tonight, the start of 5 road duels in 17 days for the Pioneers. Tomorrow on the Bear Country Sports Network, we're right back to work as Lock Haven basketball. They've had a week off. They will make the trip to Kutztown. Huge game for the women as they are tied for that final playoff spot in the PSAC East with Kutztown. 12:45 pregame, 1 p.m. tip from Keystone Arena. Men's game immediately following. The Kutztown men, Lock Haven pushed them to the limit in the game January 6th in this building. Kutztown has now won 9 in a row on the men's side and are ranked 10th in the nation. That all tomorrow on the Bear Country Sports Network. Thanks to all those who made tonight's broadcast possible, including Lock Haven Sports Information Director Doug Spanafor, his grad assistant Jeff Ross and Matt Gio, Lock Haven head coach Scott Moore, Sacred Heart head coach Andy Lozier, Sacred Heart Senior Associate Director of External Affairs Chris O'Connor, and our producer Mike Lawson. Once again, that final from the Thomas Fieldhouse. Lock Haven 45, Sacred Heart 3, for my broadcast partner Derek Caldwell and our entire Bear Country Sports Network crew. I'm Jonathan Schwab. We'll talk to you tomorrow. You've been listening to Lock Haven University Wrestling on the Bear Country Sports Network.
Thanks for listening to today's